Join me as I brave the dark and dive into my basement to find out if there's really a monster lurking down there. You know, there's something inherently unsettling about basements. They're often dark, damp, and just a little bit eerie. It's as if our collective subconscious has conditioned us to fear what might be lurking in the shadows, waiting to pounce. But what exactly is it about basements that triggers this primal response? Basements can be frightening places, and it's not just our imagination playing tricks on us. The darkness, the isolation, and the creaks and groans of an old house can all contribute to an atmosphere of unease. And let's be real, who among us hasn't had a childhood fear of the basement, whether it was the fear of monsters under the stairs or the anxiety of being trapped in a confined space? Add to that the common fears of creatures or pests that might be lurking in the shadows, rats, spiders, or worse, and it's no wonder basements can be the stuff of nightmares. Even the most rational among us can't help but feel a twinge of unease when venturing into the unknown, whether it's the darkness of a basement or the darkness of our own minds. But there's something more to it than just fear of the unknown. There's a certain psychology at play, one that taps into our deep-seated fears and anxieties. Our basements, in many ways, are a reflection of our collective psyche, a place where we store our deepest, darkest fears, and where those fears can manifest in the most unexpected ways. There are theories that what we perceive as monsters might just be our own darkest fears and anxieties given physical form. The bogeyman in the closet, the monster under the bed, these are all manifestations of our own psyche, a way for our minds to process and deal with the unknown. But what if I told you that there might be some truth to these theories, that the creatures we fear might not be so mythical after all? There are stories of creatures that have been known to inhabit basements and crawl spaces, creatures like raccoons, opossums, and even the occasional stray cat. These might not be the monsters of our nightmares, but they're still unwanted guests that can evoke a strong reaction. And then there are the urban legends and folklore that speak of creatures that lurk in the shadows, waiting to pounce. From the Jersey Devil to the Mothman, these creatures have become an integral part of our cultural heritage, symbols of our deep-seated fears and anxieties. But what if I told you that there's more to these stories than just myth and legend? What if I told you that there's a surprising amount of truth to these tales, that the creatures we fear might not be so mythical after all? Take, for example, the story of the Jersey Devil, a creature said to haunt the Pine Barrens of New Jersey. While the creature itself might be the stuff of legend, there's some surprising evidence to suggest that there might be some truth to the story. You see, the Pine Barrens are home to a surprising number of wildlife, from bobcats to bears, and even the occasional mountain lion. So, the next time you hear a strange noise coming from your basement, don't immediately assume it's the bogeyman. It might just be a stray raccoon looking for food or shelter. But then again, it could be something more, something that taps into our deep-seated fears and anxieties. In the end, it's all about perception, and how we choose to view the world around us. Are basements really the haunts of monsters and ghouls, or are they just dimly lit spaces that trigger our primal fears? The answer, I think, lies somewhere in between, in a gray area where reality and myth blur into something entirely new. So, what's your take on basement monsters? Do you have a story to share about a creepy encounter in your own basement? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to check out another related video on my channel.